cousins. So this is not medical advice, but from the feedback I gathered from you guys, it sounds like this case of sciatica in particular is stemming from tight hip muscles and hamstring muscles and weak core and glute muscles. So when the hip and hamstring muscles are tight, there's not a lot of mobility there. It brings the pelvis out of alignment. It kind of makes it tilt forward, which puts extra pressure on the spine, which can cause, irritation and pain, inflammation, etc. And then when the core and glute muscles are weak, these muscles and the surrounding muscles have to work so much harder to support us as we walk and do other movements. So this yoga flow is going to target all of that. And this might not be an issue that you have, but just from experience, I know a lot of people tend to get kind of frustrated when their bodies aren't doing certain or going as in-depth in poses as they'd like it to. And just try to let go of that. Just be okay with where your body is at this time, because you are taking the steps to make improvements. And with consistency, you will see improvement faster than you think. So let's get into it. Okay, so we're just gonna start with loosening up the hips here. So just some nice, easy windshield back and forth movements. You wanna have the feet about hip width distance apart, and then just drop them to one side and to the other. Make sure your spine stays straight. And do each of these poses for about 15 to 30 seconds. Oh, and before you even start the poses, I skipped the entire preparation process. I want you to connect with your breath to make sure, you're maintaining the proper breathing throughout the poses, because that'll make them more effective and you'll see results quicker. So, I'm gonna stand up. So throughout the flow, you're gonna be breathing in through your nose, out through your nose. Occasionally, you can do cleansing breaths, which is just inhale in through your nose, open your mouth, sigh it out. And you can do that before you get started, but for the majority of the flow, you want to just take those full inhales in through the nose, full exhales out of the nose, and try and make sure that you're placing your breath down into your diaphragm, into the belly area, instead of up into the chest. So for me, it kind of feels like I'm pushing up, but for you, it could feel like you're pulling up. So instead of pushing or pulling the breath up into the chest, you want to pull it or push it down into the belly. So you're breathing into the belly. Your belly should expand out when you inhale, and less of the chest. And then I usually start with just a few moments of connecting with my breath to get into the habit and the flow of full inhales and exhales for however long I'm going to be doing the yoga flow. So you can just sit here for a few seconds. It's kind of like a mini meditation. You have your hands resting on your thighs, palm stays up, or you can place your left hand over your heart, right hand over your low belly, and then you can really feel where you're pushing or pulling your breath into. And it just helps to strengthen when you place your left hand over the heart, right hand over the low belly. That also helps to strengthen that mind-body connection, so everything's in sync as we move throughout this. Okay, and I usually like to also start with 2 or 3 cleansing breaths. So it's up to you though. Okay, so we're hips width distance apart, and then dropping the knees. And then you could, I don't know how your shoulder mobility is, but this could create some relief in the low back and the glutes. And exhale to come down. And we're gonna straighten out the legs. Inhale to reach up. Really try to lengthen through the spine here. And exhale to fold. But I know this could also put pressure on the irritated nerve that's causing you pain. So if that's the case, just go straight into this leaning forward, or you can skip this altogether. And after that 15 to 30 seconds, inhale to slowly roll up from that fold. We're gonna cross one leg over the other. Inhale to reach up the opposite arm. Exhale to twist in the direction of the leg that is bent and crossed. You just want to gaze over the shoulder of whatever direction you have twisted to. And exhale to untwist, and then we switch. Inhale the arm up, exhale to twist. Exhale to untwist. We're gonna come through hands and knees, aka tabletop. From here, we're gonna take a child's pose. So bring your big toes together. Bring your knees apart as wide as is comfortable. Sink your hips back onto your heels. You wanna make sure your hips are synced back the entire time. And slowly walk your hands out in front of you to fold. Gently rest your forehead. Gently rest your forehead. I don't know if I just covered my mic, but yes. And if you notice that your hips kind of lift as you go into a fold here, then just fold as deeply as you can without your hips lifting. So if you have to stay here, just, you know what to do. So from wherever you are, after that 15 to 30 seconds, you'll inhale to halfway lift. You'll walk your hands over towards the right, place your left hand on top of your right, and you'll fold. 15 to 30 seconds, you'll inhale, halfway lift, walk your hands towards the left, right hand goes on top of left, and fold. Inhale to halfway lift, come back to center. Come back onto your hands and knees for a tabletop. And from here, we'll move through some cat-cow. So you'll inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale, round your upper back, bring your chin towards your chest. And continue at your own pace, making sure to stay with the flow of your breath there. You inhale for cow pose, exhale for cat pose. And also it might be relieving to kind of drop the hips from side to side. Inhale as you carry the hips through center, exhale as they fall to one side. Something else that also might be helpful, inhale into cobra pose, exhale into a restorative child's pose. Inhale and exhale. And you can do that however many times you feel that you need to. And then we're gonna inhale to come down to the belly. Bend one knee at a 90-degree angle, half frog pose. And just gently rest your head. Breathe into the hips here. And then something else you can do is a cobra variation where you kind of press up. You can take a few twists here. This loosens up the low back. And also the hips at the same, or the hip at the same time. And then you can lower down and switch. And then if you want to take that cobra variation, and then we're going to do Sphinx pose. Just come up on your forearms. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed down away from your ears. So just keep a nice straight spine. And breathe. This releases tension in the low back. And exhale. Next, we're going to bring our hands underneath our shoulders. Press up, back into tabletop. And from tabletop, we'll tuck the toes. Press up through the hands and feet for down dog. If it's comfortable, you can pedal out your feet to get some extra space created in the backside body and the hamstrings and the calves. And then we'll step the right foot forward, taking a high runner's lunge. You can keep your hands down on the mat or on the floor, but try and see if you can press up into this position here. And you want to make sure you're engaging the core here as well. And if you need a little more stability, you can bring your legs out wide. Like move your right leg to the right, your left leg to the left. Gives you a wider base. And then we're gonna step back. And then we'll switch. Remember 15 to 30 seconds for each pose. And either stay down here or come up, and you can also put your hands on your hips. It's like, you don't have to do it like I do it. And then we bring it down. And then we take a low lunge. And for each of these lunge poses, you want to make sure your knee and ankle are directly aligned. And if you want more intensity or less intensity in the pose, you can push your back leg out further for more intensity or bring it in closer for less intensity. So same thing here. You can either press your hands on your hips, on your knee, overhead. You want to get a shoulder stretch, you can take cactus arms, like that. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, press the chest open. And on an exhale, we're gonna straighten out the leg for half split. Inhale for a flat back, exhale to fold over that leg. And then we're gonna do some back and forth movement. So we're gonna go from low lunge to half split. Low lunge to half split. You do as many times as you'd like. And then we're gonna step the left foot in between the hands, drop the back knee down, low lunge. Get nice and comfortable here. And breathe. Remember, deep, full breaths throughout the entire flow. And exhale, straighten the leg. Inhale to halfway lift, exhale to fold. And we'll take that back and forth movement. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Then we'll walk the hands back to come into a low lunge. And we'll do some halfway up and down lifts here. We'll inhale to halfway lift, flatten the back. Flatten the back, exhale to fold. Inhale to slowly roll up. Exhale to fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Inhale to roll up. Inhale, palms touch. Exhale, ride the breath down. Walk the hands out, back into down dog. And we'll step the right foot in between the hands. Spin the back foot flat. Make sure it's parallel to the back of the mat or the wall, whatever you're in front of. Bring the hands out or the arms out to a T. And this is warrior two. You want to make sure that your front heel is aligned with your back foot, the arch of your back foot. So shoulders relaxed here. Make sure you're pressing strong through the legs. And then we'll flip the palms. Right arm comes up and over, reverse warrior. But if this puts too much pressure on like one side, I don't know if you have more pain on one side than the other, but if this puts too much pressure on a more painful side, then you don't have to go as deep as that. And then we'll come through warrior two. Lower the right arm down onto the right leg. Left arm comes up and over, extended side angle. 15 to 30 seconds there. Come back to warrior two, straighten the front leg. Lean forward, hinging from the hips. Right arm comes down, left arm comes up. And you can gaze up at your left hand if that is comfortable. And you also don't have to press your hand all the way to the floor. If it's more comfortable to just come here, you can rest it on your shin or your ankle. Whatever feels good to you. Then we'll lower that arm. We're gonna turn towards the long ways of the mat. And we're gonna have our feet a bit wider than hips width distance. Make sure your heels are pointed in, toes are pointed out. Inhale to reach up, exhale to come into a goddess pose. From here, place your hands on your knees. Inhale to extend the spine. Exhale to drop your right shoulder down. Gaze over the left shoulder. Inhale through center. Exhale to drop the left shoulder. Gaze over the right. And I usually do that 3 times on each side. But if you feel like you need more or less reps, then feel free. From here, we're gonna come back to down dog. And then we'll just take that on the other side. And we'll come down back onto tabletop. From here, we'll take a bird dog pose. So you can start by extending your right leg, or it doesn't matter which leg you start with, but extending one leg straight out behind you. And then we'll take the opposite arm and extend it straight out in front. Make sure you're squeezing the core here, and you can take it to the next level. And on an exhale, bring the elbow to the knee. Inhale back out. Exhale, elbow to knee. Or if you opt out of extending the arm, you can just exhale, knee to nose. Exhale, knee to nose. Same thing on the other side. Hold for 15 to 30 seconds, and then we'll exhale to bend, whichever way you do so. And you can do those crunches as many times as you. I recommend 5, but if you feel like you need more or less, then go for it. From here, come down flat onto the belly. Come up to the forearms, tuck the toes, take an inhale. On an exhale, press yourself up. Make sure you're not sinking down into your shoulders. You want to press nice and strong through there. Core engaged, of course. Make sure your back is flat. Your back and glutes should be almost in a straight line. Or if coming up onto the hands is a bit easier, then take this version. And we're gonna do a side plank. So drop one knee down. Reach the arm up. And on an exhale, bring knee to elbow. Inhale to extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale to extend. And I usually do that 3 or 4 times. 4 times. 4 or 5 times. And then we'll switch. And same thing, exhale. But if you stay on your forearms and you take the forearm side plank, then we're just gonna stay like this. None of the crunching, so you can mix it up if you wanna do the crunches on the side plank on the hand. And then you can also, I have my feet stacked, but you can put one down in front or behind the other. And exhale to slowly lower down. You want to be nice and controlled with each movement. So next, we'll flip on right over. Hug the knees into the chest. You can rock side to side to get a nice massage in the low back and the sacrum. And then we're gonna bring the knees out so that they're directly stacked over the hips. We're gonna take some hip circles to one side. And then the other side. And then we're gonna place our feet flat. And we're just gonna kind of create a little more, or relieve some tension in the spine, I should say. So here, we don't want to arch the back too much, but with that natural curve in the lower spine, we want to just kind of flatten that. Draw the belly button in and down. Exhale to release. Inhale to flatten the back. Exhale to release. Inhale to flatten the back. Exhale to release for that natural curve. And I usually do that one about 10 times. So you can do more or less if you prefer. And then next we're gonna bring one leg up, make sure the knee is bent in a 90-degree angle, knee and hip directly stacked. And we're just gonna tap the feet to the floor and bring it back up. Tap the feet to the floor and back up. The other side. And then if you want to take it up a notch, lift both feet and lower one. And you don't have to lower it. I'm pretty sure you can do this stuff. Lower to the floor and come back up. Yeah, I think you can do this. And then switch. And then from here, we're going to do a reclined bird dog. So we'll extend one leg and the opposite arm. And you can bring it down to touch the mat, but you don't have to. You can just keep it lifted and bring it back. Inhale to extend, exhale to bring it back. Inhale to extend, exhale to bring it back. And same thing for the opposite side. Inhale, exhale. And then we'll do those knee circles, one on one side and to the opposite side. Place both feet flat. Grab a yoga strap or a t-shirt or a towel. Just something to wrap around your foot. Gently pull your leg in closer to you. And keep a slight bend in the knee, just to avoid overstretching, overextending. And then we'll And then we'll take it on the other side. To 30 seconds, and then we'll straighten the leg. 15 to 30 seconds, we'll straighten that one. Go back on the other side. And from here, with the knee bent, inhale to bring it out to the side slightly. Exhale to cross it over the body for a supine twist. You can extend your arm straight up beside you, bringing it to an L shape or resting on your hip or thigh. And if it's comfortable, gaze towards the opposite way that your leg is twisted. And then we will switch. Inhale, exhale to cross. And inhale to untwist. With the soles of your feet planted flat, adjust your feet so that your fingertips are slightly brushing your heels. You want to have your arms at your sides, palms face down. Your fingers should be slightly brushing your heels. Take an inhale, and on an exhale, press up through your feet, hands, shoulders, and upper back. For a bridge pose, you can keep your hands flat or make a fist under the bridge. Make sure you're pressing up strong through your legs and that your knees do not fall inward. And exhale to slowly lower down. Remember, controlled movements. We'll lift the leg straight up. Cross one ankle over the knee on the other leg. Bend the knee and gently pull your legs in towards your body, while also pressing the knee that's bent away from your body, but not too much. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed against the floor, your mat. And you can either grab your hamstring or your knee to gently pull. And switch. You also want to make sure the foot that's crossed over the knee is flexed. Well, both feet are flexed, I should say. And we'll lower down. With the feet flat, knees, hips width distance apart. We'll take that same windshield motion that we took in the beginning. And straighten out both legs. Bend one knee, sole of the foot is pointed towards the ceiling, and grab onto the outside of the foot for a half happy baby. And then we'll switch. And then we'll bend both of the legs, bring the soles of the feet together for a reclined bound angle or reclined butterfly pose. You can either have your hands to your sides, palms face up, or left hand over your heart, right hand over your low belly. And you can scoot your feet away from your body to lessen the intensity of the stretch or bring them in closer to increase the intensity. And then we're gonna move into legs up the wall pose. So you can do it without the wall, just like this. I think it's much better with the wall. So just scoot your butt as close to the wall as possible and legs up. You can have your arms however it's most comfortable. I like to just spread eagle. And then we'll take a Shavasana. I strongly recommend not skipping this. A lot of people do. I'll move the mat. A lot of people do, but just for a minute or two, if you can, just lay here. You can either just lay straight out, palms face up, or left hand over your heart, right hand over your low belly, or you can take that reclined butterfly. Close your eyes, come back to your breath, reflect on the flow that you just went through, and let everything fully settle in before you move on to the next thing. take some cleansing breaths. You can do a body scan to see where if you're holding any tension anywhere. I like to do that at the end because people tend to hold tension in their forehead, their jaw, or they're like flexing their hips or glute muscles without even realizing. So just scan the body for areas that can be relaxed, that you can release tension from right in that moment. And that is all for the floor flow. I also have some poses that you can do in the chair when you're just sitting around somewhere. You don't have to have a full-blown mat and all of that. Okay, so in the chair you can do seated cat-cow. You can also do this on the floor if you're like sitting on the floor. You would just rather, instead of going to tabletop and doing cat-cow, you can do it from a sitting position. So same thing, just inhale, press the belly and the chest forward, shoulders back, shoulders down and back. Exhale, round the upper back, bring the chin towards the chest. Try not to lift the shoulders up towards the ears while rounding the back. So inhale, exhale. And then you can take those spinal twists as well. Just put one, whichever way you're twisting, put the opposite arm on the outside of the leg on the same side. And then you can grab the arm or you can grab the back of the chair and twist and breathe. Exhale to untwist and switch. And switch, or not in switch, untwist. You can cross one ankle over the thigh and hold it like that. You can also bring your hands to your hips and without rounding the upper back at all, just keep the spine very straight and gently lean forward. And then you can also bring the arms and move to one side and move to the other. If one feels better and like the other side hurts, or you just prefer to do one side, then that's fine too. You don't have to do both sides. And then switch. I will sit here for 15 to 30 seconds and then release. Another thing you can do is that same movement that we took standing up from goddess pose. So inhale, lengthen the spine, exhale, drop one shoulder down, inhale through center, exhale, inhale. You could do and you can forward fold. You can straighten the legs. And you can also do the warrior two, extended side angle, reverse warrior if you wanted to. So you just extend one leg, have the feet in those same positions, and then you could do the nerve flossing. You can either have your heel touching the floor and just or you can lift it up and same thing. Or also And you can either just hold it here, or you could do. So yeah, a reminder to not overextend the knees too much in any of the poses. Stay with the breath and stay consistent. And if any of the poses cause more pain or more irritation, then you can skip those poses and just focus on the ones that bring you more relief. Slight discomfort is okay. Like you probably will feel discomfort, especially since we're strengthening the muscles and increasing the mobility. But pain and irritation, it's not a good sign.